This has felt like such a long off season, but we're almost there. So as we do leading up to every season, today I want to make some bold predictions. If you guys are excited about the season, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. We're going to have a lot of content coming out, but let's get into this. Now I want to make it clear. These things aren't super likely. They are bold predictions that I have a gut feeling are more likely than most people. I want to hear your boldest prediction in the comments, but I want to start it off with one I've been hitting at in the last couple of videos, and that's that the Pelicans are a playoff team without the play-in, and Zion Williamson is an MVP candidate. I'm really surprised just how little this team is being talked about. Sure, you're seeing a lot about Zion's weight transformation, but not really this Pelicans group as a whole. Right now, Vegas has the Pelicans finishing with the 9th best record in the West, which was pretty surprising to see. As we talked about, they made the playoffs this past season. They did that without Zion and only had McCollum since the deadline. This is an extremely well-rounded group. The scoring is there. The 26 games we saw from McCollum might have been the best stretch of his career. He averaged 24 points with 49-39 splits. Ingram is just entering his prime. He's coming off a year averaging 23, 6, and 6, but it was super promising to see him step up in the playoffs, going to 27 points on incredible efficiency. Both these guys are solid playmakers for their position, hopefully making up for what appears to be their biggest hole. Adding in Zion, I truly think you create one of the better trios in the league. When we last saw him, he was legitimately one of the most efficient high-volume scorers the league had ever seen. He averaged 27 points on 61% from the field. He's also a decent playmaker in his own right. I love the two-man game he had developed with JJ Redick. I could see that being a huge part of this offense, but on a whole nother level now with McCollum. Sometimes things like this sound better in theory than practice, but I think it at least opens the door for some crazy upside to this group. Now, these three alone aren't why I'm so bullish on this group. Their depth is ridiculous. We forget about Jonas Valanciunas, who averaged 17 points a game last season, and there's a chance he might be coming off the bench. Devonte Graham hasn't come close to the player that was leading the most improved race for the first half of the season a couple years ago, but he's a respectable role player. They just had a top pick in the draft where they selected Dyson Daniels. He's a real wild card. He's a raw, oversized point guard that projects to be an incredible defender and playmaker. The big question is where will the scoring be, but I really don't think they need too much of that from him. Jackson Hayes, Jose Alvarado, Larry Nance. The depth is crazy. Then you've got the second-year guys that I'm honestly just so excited about. That's Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Murphy was a decent 3-and-D presence for them a year ago. He's coming off a great summer league. I don't think the expectations are too high, but he's in for a good year. Then you've got Jones, a guy that with Zion's return really might be the one to unleash what this team is capable of defensively. He averaged 10 points on solid efficiency as a rookie, but it was really that defense that caught everyone's eye. Legitimately, he's already one of the most versatile defenders in the league. He's going to be a likely contender for an all-defensive team honor, and alongside Zion, and size when needed with Jonas, rookie Dyson Daniels, Trey Murphy, on paper, it projects to be a solid defensive unit. Zion obviously needs to stay healthy, but seeing him show up to training camp in by far the best shape of his NBA career, I couldn't be more optimistic. As crazy as it sounds, I see them as anywhere from the 4th to 6th seed in the Western Conference. Now the next one's definitely bold, but with some recent developments, I'm starting to think it's more realistic than ever, and that's that LeVar Ball gets his wish granted and the three Ball brothers all team up in Charlotte. Now obviously, we know LaMelo has become the face of the Hornets franchise. They have him locked up. He's not going anywhere. The big recent news is that LiAngelo Ball has signed a non-guaranteed deal to join the Hornets. This has seemed inevitable for a while now, just given his time around the organization, his participation with their Summer League and G League affiliates, and the fact that the Hornets want to keep LaMelo as happy as possible. Now, it's no guarantee he even makes it past the preseason, but I think he just might. Now, that still leaves another brother, that being Lonzo, who's with the Chicago Bulls. Fully healthy, I don't think he'd be going anywhere, but that's what makes this situation interesting. After signing a huge 4-year deal last offseason, he played just 35 games, but up until recently, everyone thought he'd be back for the start of the season. That's not the case. Lonzo just underwent a procedure on his left knee that's going to keep him out another 4 to 6 weeks, and even once he returns, it's hard to know what we can expect, as he said that he's been unable to run, jump, or even flex his knees properly since the injury. Lonzo has struggled with injuries his entire career, with the Bulls already having some solid point guard options in Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Alex Caruso, and new addition Goran Dragic. I feel like there's a solid chance the Bulls decide to cut their losses, and in that event, I don't see a reason the Hornets wouldn't be buyers willing to take the risk. Again, this is out there, but for the sake of content, please let it happen. My next prediction is that Ben Simmons will be an all-star. While it seems impossible with all the craziness he's been involved with the last couple years, I think things are lining up pretty well in Brooklyn. Somehow, some way, both Durant and Kyrie are still a part of this team. They added in guys like Royce O'Neal and TJ Warren, giving them much needed wing help. Joe Harris is back. Vegas has them tied for the 3rd best record in the Eastern Conference. A really solid season for the Nets seems likely, and I think Ben Simmons is going to be a big part of that. When we last saw him, yes, there was a lot to complain about. He was on a max contract, scared to take a shot in the playoffs due to his inability to shoot the ball. Not what you want to see from someone that's supposed to be your franchise cornerstone, but I think we forget just how good he was in certain aspects of the game. The playmaking was never a question, and he had ascended to being one of the best defenders in the league. I don't see a world where that has gone away. The scenario is completely different. No one's going to be counting on Ben Simmons to be a volume scorer. No one's even counting on him being this team's primary ball handler. Hopefully, he's spending more time in the front court than not. If that's the case, I really think we could see him thrive in a Draymond Green-esque role. I feel like we'll see his role adapt as the year goes on, but going into the All-Star break, I think there's a real chance the Nets sit as one of the top seeds in the league, and Ben Simmons is a defensive anchor of this unit. I don't think there are many players I'm more excited to see in a new scenario than him. The next prediction relates to our last video, and that's most improved. I think the current favorites deserve to be the favorites, that being Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, but as we've talked about in that video, coming off such impressive seasons, they really have to ascend to being one of the top backcourt players in the league. I really think this award is going to go to a player that no one is even thinking about right now. Now, who specifically? That's tough to say. As I just said, no one's thinking about them right now. After Halliburton and Edwards and odds, you've got guys like Jalen Brunson, Zion Williamson, or second-year players that historically are rare winners, such as Cade Cunningham and Scotty Barnes. I really don't think any of these guys have a great chance. I have a feeling it's going to be a winner like a Siakam or McCollum that just come out of nowhere. My next bold prediction is that most of the top-end teams in the league's total win over-unders are just going to get smashed, and we could be in for some possible win record seasons, both positively and negatively. I really think we're in for an unprecedented tank fest. It's been a very, very long time since we've had this clear of a number 1 overall prospect entering the season. Yes, you've had guys like Zion or Markel that became a clear number 1 pick throughout the season, but Victor Wembanyama will be the number 1 pick a year from now, barring something crazy. I really think by next June, he is going to be the most hyped up prospect since LeBron James, and knowing just how good of a prospect this 7-foot billion freak is before the start of the season, teams are going to be going all out for a guy that's potentially franchise altering. Right now, you've got teams like the Rockets, Spurs, Thunder, all around 23.5 wins according to Vegas. It makes sense based on the last couple seasons. This past year, the worst record in the league was the Rockets with 20 wins. Most of the top lottery teams were around that 23 mark. This year, I really think we're going to have a couple of teams not even break 15 wins. We're going to see some shady strategy and weird stuff go down in the fourth quarter from some of these teams. I think it's also going to set up this scenario that some of the top teams in the league are going to have more guaranteed win outings than ever, potentially setting up for some of the best win totals in league history. The only thing potentially holding that back is what appears to be some serious parity across the playoff projected teams, but that can definitely change as the season goes on. My last prediction, and this one is going to get some people going, is that the Warriors are going to make a huge trade this season. I know it seems crazy given their projected shot at winning the title, but as the season progresses, if teams like the Nuggets, Clippers, Suns, Celtics, Nets stay healthy, it's going to be clear it's not going to be the same level of difficulty path at the title. As we talked about in recent videos, they have a crazy offseason ahead, with Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and potentially Klay Thompson all looking for new contracts. Well, yes, everyone's hoping this new TV deal can come in and save the day. That's not a guarantee. I think the Warriors make a lateral move, not necessarily to help them right now, but trade a guy like Poole for younger players and draft picks to kick the can down the road. Maybe Wiseman, Kuminga, some of these guys that are going to be coming up for new deals that aren't necessarily a foundation of this current group. Warriors fans probably have the strongest opinions in the community, so I want to know your guys' thoughts. But that's the video, guys. You guys tell me your bold predictions in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.